AVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Amaya Norman. Trenton Whiting has the night off. According to officials, northbound and southbound lane on Highway 59 are now open. Around 4 a.m. this morning, responders were called to an accident on Highway 59 at Beck Road East involving an 18-wheeler and hazardous materials concerns. At the time, all lanes were closed and traffic was diverted. Officials say no injuries were reported and there was no threat to the public. Motorists are now able to travel through the area, but drivers are still urged to remain cautious. And following that accident, a major accident this afternoon involving a deadly crash and traffic closure on Highway 59. At approximately 12:10 that afternoon, a crash involving an 18-wheeler and multiple vehicles occurred at Highway 59 North and Hill Road. Authorities say several vehicles were involved and 3 people were killed in the crash. Highway 59 northbound was initially closed, but officials now say all lanes have been reopened. We're still waiting to learn what caused the crash as an investigation continues. And court testimony continues in the case surrounding the Robb Elementary shooting. Today, prosecution and defense attorneys clashed over the critical moment after the gunman entered the school. A prosecution witness told the court that officers Adrian Gonzalez had more than a minute to stop the shooter before he entered Robb Elementary. During the roughly 2 minutes, Gonzalez was outside the school. The witness said the gunman was able to fire more than 100 rounds in 2 classrooms. Defense attorneys, however, argued that Gonzalez was not the only officer responding in those initial moments. They highlighted that 3 other officers may have had a better view of the gunman, and at least one of them could have stopped him before entering the school. Defense lawyers are expected to begin their case early next week, and the jury could begin deliberation as soon as Wednesday. And a man suspected of killing his girlfriend in Maine is now in custody after he led police on a chase through 2 other states. This began Saturday morning in Massachusetts. Police began chasing Dane Burke, but it was unclear what triggered the pursuit. While officers were trying to stop Burke in his Jeep, they learned he was wanted for killing his girlfriend. He eventually crashed his Jeep into a tree in New Hampshire, some 50 miles away. Police say he was seriously hurt in the crash and is undergoing treatment at a hospital. He is facing numerous charges in Maine, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. And back-to-back winter storms hitting the East Coast with snow followed by a frigid temperature for the upcoming week. More than 55 million Americans under winter weather alert. And now the East is starting down another round of freezing weather.
Tonight, over 50 million across the country under weather alerts. Americans digging out from a winter deluge and battling treacherous roads as a second storm system looms on the horizon. This sedan in St. Louis, Missouri, heading eastbound on Highway 40, careening out of control and crashing into this guardrail after an inch of snow fell rapidly this morning in the Show Me state. First responders also sliding on the highway as they approached the scene. Drivers battling those frosty conditions across the storm zone. That snow then moving into the East Coast. In the Northeast, planes at Newark Airport in New Jersey de-iced after the sudden snowfall.
Scenes like what we're seeing here today in New York popping up across the Northeast. This winter front stretching hundreds of miles all the way into the South.
And across the Midwest, that same system bringing chilling temperatures ahead of the Bears-Rams playoff football game tomorrow.
It's going to be a cold weekend tomorrow for the Bears game.
Temps expected to be as low as 6 degrees during kickoff.
In New York, I'm Ashin Singh, ABC News.
Now let's go to Trey Mining with the first look at our forecast. Trey, I know we're not expecting no snow, right?
No snow here, no frozen precipitation at all, but we have our own winter weather of a different kind, I guess.
Yeah.
Freezing temperatures.
Freezing temperatures.
We have a freeze warning in effect that goes into effect at 4 a.m. coming up for Sunday morning until 9 a.m. So if you haven't brought your pets and your plants in,
yes,
go ahead and do that right now.
Right in.
Right now, almost the last chance of that. Temperatures right now are beginning to fall somewhat. First of all, let's take a look at the freeze warning, which does include Victoria County, also Jackson County and counties along the coast north of Matagorda Bay, and parts of Calhoun County and all the way down into deep South Texas, where we are here, of course. Temperatures right now under clearing skies 43 degrees. It's dropped significantly since 5:30 we had our last newscast. Look at the humidity, 40%. That's very low for this time of evening. Dew point is 20. That is very, very dry air. That's a key ingredient. Along with clearing skies, to let the temperatures fall quite rapidly. Radiation cooling. How cool will it get tonight? What about next week and the rain chance next week as well? We do need the rainfall. We'll talk about that and then the temperatures and everything you need to know weather-wise a little bit later on in this half hour. Back to you, Amaya.
Thank you, Trey. Tonight, the major new study just released on Tylenol. What this sweeping new study says about the safety of the popular pain reliever when it comes to unborn children. Here's the latest.
A team of scientists late tonight say it's the strongest evidence ever showing that when pregnant women use Tylenol, it doesn't cause their children to become autistic. Researchers in The Lancet, a leading health journal, say that they combed through the data of 60 different studies that looked at more than 1 million children and say that despite some strongly held beliefs in today's U.S. government, they did not find that taking Tylenol during pregnancy causes autism, attention deficit, or hyperactivity in children.
The main takeaway from this study is taking all of that together really should give some long-term reassurance for anyone who had any confusion or concern.
People were confused last fall when the president and the U.S. health secretary went on live television saying the exact opposite, a position they maintain this evening.
So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
These researchers tonight say that the president's advice is not rooted in science and carries its own risk. They underline that untreated pain or fever can hurt the baby and the mother could even lose the child. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Atlanta.
Spring and Mulberry has expanded its voluntary recall of chocolate bars due to possible salmonella contamination. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the recall now consists of additional flavors. In addition to mint leaf, they include lavender rose, mango chili, mixed berry, mulberry, pecan date, and pure dark minis. The chocolate bars have been sold online and at retailers nationwide since September 15th of 2025. No one has reported getting sick. And for more local news, content, weather, and sports, come to our website at crossroadstoday.com. And if you see news happening, let us know. Call the number on your screen to contact our newsroom or email us your tips at staff@crossroadstoday.com. Now to President Trump's new strategy for Greenland, threatening tariffs on allies as protests grow and U.S. lawmakers head to Denmark in support. Next.
Take a look at the almanac for today. High today 62 degrees, low is the current temperature 43 degrees and getting colder than that. We're actually pretty near normal today, but not anywhere near normal coming up tomorrow morning. Lows 30s, 20s even actually in some parts of the area. But about that and the rain chances for next week coming up in the full forecast.
Now to President Trump's new strategy for Greenland, threatening NATO allies with a 10% tariff. This as thousands gather in Denmark to support the Arctic territory and a group of U.S. lawmakers traveling to Denmark showing their support for the American ally. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump issuing a new threat to our European allies who oppose a U.S. takeover of Greenland. Trump posting on Truth Social that 8 of our NATO allies, including Denmark, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, will face 10% tariffs starting on February 1st. Adding that those tariffs will jump to 25% in June until a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland. For weeks, Trump has been escalating his threat, saying the U.S. will have Greenland one way or another, refusing to rule out the use of military force. In response, those countries have sent small groups of military forces to the island nation, backing our NATO ally Denmark, which has long controlled Greenland.
Greenland's not for sale!
It comes as thousands march through the streets of Copenhagen today in protest, many waving Greenland's flag, holding signs that read, "Make America Smart Again" and "Hands Off."
I'm afraid that he will destroy the NATO alliance, so we're here to stand with the Greenlanders.
Trump is criticizing those countries for, quote, playing this very dangerous game and putting a level of risk in play that is not tenable or sustainable. This weekend, a bipartisan group of senators traveling in Denmark.
Do the officials in Denmark and Greenland take President Trump's threats seriously?
Very seriously. In fact, they're alarmed. Danish political leaders are preparing for the possibility that the United States, instead of being a close and trusted ally, might become an adversary, and they're gravely concerned.
Selena Wang, ABC News, Washington.
Some troubling video out of Minneapolis shows a federal agent using force during an immigration arrest. New video from Minneapolis appears to show a Border Patrol agent repeatedly kneeling on a man's head and face during an arrest. And the footage has sparked questions about how federal officers are using force. The incident occurred in the wake of border immigration enforcement activity in the city that has already drawn national attention, including protests and controversial encounters with federal agents. Officials are reviewing the action seen on camera, and community leaders are calling for accountability as the situation continues to unfold. And continued protests in Minneapolis today. It's been 10 days since Renee Good was shot and killed by a federal officer in the city. And now sources say the Justice Department is investigating the mayor and governor of Minnesota. ABC's Matt Rivers is in Minneapolis.
Tonight in downtown Minneapolis, dueling protests taking sides on snowy sidewalks for and against ICE.
So this was billed as a pro-ICE rally, and they are in there somewhere, the organizers of this rally. But you can see they're being completely drowned out by the hundreds of people who have come out here to protest ICE action in the city.
One group organized by an anti-Trump, anti-ICE coalition, the other organized by a conservative influencer from Florida, protesting what they call the March Against Minnesota Fraud. Influencer Jake Lang said he planned to burn a Quran and march through a neighborhood with a large Somali population. Local and state law enforcement also out in numbers to keep the peace. The Minnesota National Guard already activated by the governor, but on standby, not on the streets. Last night, a federal judge ruled federal ICE and Border Patrol agents cannot detain or use tear gas on protesters in Minneapolis who are demonstrating peacefully. Protests have only increased since the fatal shooting of Renee Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3, by ICE agent Jonathan Ross.
Where are we supposed to go?
And as ICE expands what it calls Operation Metro Surge in Minneapolis, multiple sources tell ABC News Mayor Jacob Fry and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are under federal investigation for allegedly obstructing law enforcement activity. Walz responding, saying weaponizing the justice system and threatening political opponents is a dangerous authoritarian tactic. The only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her.
We believe that in our state that people should be welcome and should live in peace, and we should not have the federal government literally persecuting the state of Minnesota.
President Trump had threatened to use the Insurrection Act to deploy the U.S. military to the streets, but now says he does not think it's necessary. Matt Rivers, ABC News, Minneapolis.
President Trump made a major financial moves at the end of the last year, according to new disclosures. A White House financial disclosure shows Trump purchased up to $51 million in company and municipal debts, including bond from Netflix and Discovery Communication worth up to $2 million. The investment came after Netflix announced plans to buy Warner Bros., Discovery Studio, and HBO assets. Trump has said he would be involved in regulatory decisions on whether the deal can move forward. It's unclear if the purchase were made directly by Trump or through an independent agent. The White House has not responded to requests for comments. Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus.
Humidity quite low and the clouds beginning to move on out now. Skies beginning to clear. That's the ingredients for radiation cooling. And the ingredients for our temperatures to get mighty low tonight. How low will it go? We'll take a look coming up in the forecast. Good evening, everyone. Trey Mining here, and the clouds begin to clear now, as you see, moving out into the Gulf of Mexico now. High pressure still continuing to build on in, calming down our winds a little bit. Already have the very low humidity in place, and that's clearing sky also means that's right. Radiation cooling will take place and dropping our temperatures down to at or just below freezing for most of the Crossroads area. One front down south of us in the Gulf, another one to the north, kind of reinforcing the cool, dry air for the next couple of days. And it's kind of a slow-ish warming trend coming out for next week. More on that later on. Big picture, big storm in the Great Lakes states headed toward New England. Our front just south of us in the Gulf, high pressure exiting the east coast. And pretty much uniform from Texas well to the west toward California. More clouds off the west coast of the United States so far. Not bothering anybody too much. Winds coming up from the north, you know what that means. That means cool, dry air still continue to move into and stay around the Crossroads region. Temperatures at 11 o'clock will be in the 40s, likely dropping in the 30s or below. Look at this, coming up by about 4 a.m., 30 degrees in Victoria, probably in 30s to 20s from the US 59 northward toward Hallettsville, Gonzales, Cuero, and Yoakum, and also Nixon. Probably mid to upper 30s from Victoria southward toward the coast. So unless you're along the right on the immediate coast in the bayfronts there, you probably escape the freezing, but from about Port Lavaca northward, probably be at or below 32 degrees by the time you wake up early in the morning time. Remember, freeze warning in effect from 4 a.m. until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning through most of the Crossroads region, except for the immediate coastal zones. Future track, clearing skies already happening now. That means radiation cooling will take place, is already beginning to do so as we speak, and temperatures will be at or below freezing for most of the Crossroads area. Increasing cloud cover not until probably about late Sunday into Monday. For Port Lavaca, probably about 34 degrees more than likely by about 6 a.m. Very chilly start. Sunny skies the majority of the day. You don't have sunny skies remain rather chilly throughout the day. Highs in the 50s to the low 60s at best. coming up. And Quail, you'll be at or below 30 degrees by 6 a.m. with a likely light freeze for most of the Crossroads area, with sunny skies throughout the majority of the day coming up as usual, of course. As you've been seeing the last couple of days, of course, this will be the case again for your day tomorrow. And Victoria, 30 degrees by 6 a.m. Sunny skies in the majority of the time frame for your day tomorrow, with high temperatures about 60, 61 degrees for the overall high temperature around the region. After our very cold start for tomorrow morning, highs about 60, 61 degrees. Bit of a warm up coming up by Tuesday. Another system gets close to us by Tuesday into Wednesday with pretty good chances of rainfall. Best rain chances on Wednesday is 60%. And then we have sunny skies, maybe another rain chance coming up with another front by Saturday. So stay cool, stay warm rather, I should say, and be safe out there. Okay, let's take a look at this right here. This is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code you see there on your screen. That'll take you to a webpage. You can download our app, news, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient. Have on your phone, be connected with us. And by the way, it is free of charge. We got Ray Robinson over there with some sports news.
Thank you, Trey. Industrial stays undefeated in district with a 53-47 win over Etna. Coming up, Coach Van Buren and Josiah Lopez break down the big game. You know, you can always count on school rivals to crank up the intensity on high school hoops. And last night's Industrial versus Etna showdown delivered big time. The Cobras came out blazing with a hard-fought 53-47 win, running their district record to a perfect 5-0. They're absolutely full steam ahead after that clutch victory. Now let's hear from head coach Van Buren and star player Josiah Lopez and what they had to say about the game.
Yes, sir, it's harder. I say it's 365 days of bragging rights. You win this game, you got the leg up to the next time we play. We ain't running from it. We're going to embrace it, and we just want to come out here. We say let the crowd be the crowd, and we give them something to cheer about. So that was our motto tonight.
I'm feeling great. I just want to thank the fans and the community and the atmosphere and just thank the man above for coming out to start off fast. I started off slow today, so second half I just picked it up as much as I can be, and we just went from there.
The Lavaca River rivalry was a split last night in victories on the hardwood, and the Etna girls pulled off a thrilling 47-40 victory, led by the unstoppable duo of Kiara Santillion and Mary Jane Ripa. Whether it was lightning-fast breaks, clutch shooting, or lockdown defense, these Cowgirls brought the heat and showed they're gunning for the top. Let's jump right into what Kiara and Mary Jane had to say about their electric performance.
We expected to come out with a win. We knew the environment was going to be tough, but I'm glad the way we kept our energy up and didn't let the crowd affect us. I think we did good defensively. We were all in the paint trying to get rebounds. No matter, even though their size was like bigger than us, we still like did our best and didn't let that like affect us.
We did really well at blocking out and keeping our like defense, like them not being able to get to the basket and get rebounds and get like the second chance points. Keep up the intensity and keep hustling hard and working hard, and we'll keep going.
And Crossroads, let's go ahead and talk about the future of Crossroads Hoops. The Crossroads Kings and Queens AAU organization is calling all middle school talent to tryouts this weekend. Head over to St. Joe High behind the Flyer Dome at the Keaton Field House and show what you've got. Don't miss, tryouts will be open tomorrow, Sunday at 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now let's hear from some of the rising stars themselves.
First sport I ever joined, and ever since I joined I fell in love. The teammates are nice, the coaches are sweet, and they're helpful, and like they help you get better at basketball. Yes, I do. There's a lot of good players out there. They can do get better, but they're gonna be something one day.
Yes, if they don't know what they're doing, I'm like, you got it, just keep on going. I help them with the drill, and I think they feel a little more comfortable once you give them that help and stuff. If you have the confidence, you know what you're doing. It shows.
And how about some classic Aggies versus Longhorns action for your men's college basketball fix? The SEC showdown between the 13-4 A&M Aggies took on the 11-6 UT Longhorns, and the final score saw the Aggies walk away with the victory 74-70. The Aggies will host Mississippi State on Wednesday, and the Longhorns will play Kentucky on the same day. But that does it for your sports. Amaya?
Thank you, Ray. A viral Chinese app that checks on lonely users is getting a new name and now comes with a subscription fee. Next. A viral Chinese app that taps into loneliness is getting a new name. In China, the app is called Are You Dead? It is aimed for those who lived alone. The app requires users to check in every day. If a person misses several days, the app automatically sends an alert to the user emergency contact. Following its explosive popularity around the world, the app announced earlier this week that it would adopt the name Dimumu for its global users. It also introduced a subscription fee. Wow, you got an app for lonely people.
There's an app for everything.
For sure, yeah. I just wonder if it's tech friendly, because a lot of, senior citizens don't really have a good tech thumb.
That's a good point.
I think that is a good point. It could be good for senior citizens, especially if you haven't heard from your grandma or, and send that emergency alert, boom.
Just to make sure.
Because if they live alone. Yeah.
So, exactly.
So let's go to weather. It's freezing, Trey.
It is freezing. I tell you what.
Hopefully no rain is coming.
No rain's coming. Thankful about that. No frozen precipitation, no snow, no freezing rain, no sleet or anything like that. But cold, yes. Freeze warning from 4 a.m. tomorrow morning until 9 a.m. with lows 30s to upper 20s, especially north of Victoria, including the city of Victoria. Rain chances good for next week on Wednesday and again on Saturday. So stay warm.
Yes, well, we know Monday for Martin Luther King Day is going to be very pretty.
Exactly.
But thank you for joining us. We hope to see you here Sunday, back here Sunday, for 25 News Now weekends at 5:30. Good night.